Hey, bookworms! I am here and on the phone with Alysia Jackson, beaming in from North Carolina. She is an author of If You Let Him. So, tell me a little bit about yourself, I guess, as an author, how you became an author.
Sure, yeah. It really wasn't an intentional thing, I guess. I'm originally from Ohio. I know you're in Michigan, so please don't hold that against me. But I just faced a lot of challenges in life from a very young age. And about the age of 31, I relocated to North Carolina. And I ended up meeting my now husband, and he helped me through a lot of trauma. And in doing that, he also introduced me to God. And so in me trying to establish this relationship with God from all of the things I had seen with him and his family, and just the peace and joy and some miracles along the way, I ended up writing my thoughts down, the things that were given to me. And eventually, in establishing that relationship, God told me to turn it into a book, and that it could not only just help me, that I shouldn't hold it for myself, that I should share it, and hopefully, even if it helps one or two other people, it's a great mission accomplished.
Okay, and so who would you say your target audience is?
Everyone, really everybody. I know that everybody in this world has been through something and has felt the way that I felt, maybe not, as much, or everybody has different situations they go through, some more than others. And it's really just about encouraging each other and just letting you know that there's something out there. There is a higher power that can help you and give you the life that you really want and deserve, better than you can even imagine for yourself if you just make that connection.
Okay, and are you self-published?
No, sir. I was published through Fulton Books.
Okay, excellent. And where can people find your book?
It is on Amazon and Barnes & Noble.
And when was your book published?
2024, it was released.
Okay. What can you tell me about your writing process, or, how did that go? Any obstacles that you had to overcome, or?
Yeah, I think, once I kind of received the message that I got, which was, I have to set aside time, I would come out onto a serene, my porch and about 4:30 in the morning, and just spend time really listening to God and trying to figure out what's going on with me, how I get through these things, and just writing those things down. And sometimes, just get lost in those moments. And so I did have to go back and try to make them make more sense to other people, just because I really just poured out everything that was given to me. So I tried to not modify it so much to where it wasn't that authentic message I was getting, but also in a way that people could understand. So there was a lot of just really making sure that it was what I wanted to put out there.
What kinds of trauma, without getting into too much detail, I guess, or whatever you're comfortable with, are addressed in the book?
Yeah, it's really high level, but from a very young age, I had an absent father. My mother was, I guess we'll just call it very immature, really not ever ready to be a mother. So we went through a lot of things, didn't have basic needs that other children should have, and were exposed to things that we really shouldn't have been. So there was times we didn't have water, electricity. We moved really often because the bills didn't get paid. There was some houses that ended up getting foreclosed after we left, and so it was just kind of like a series of events like that. And then unfortunately, I didn't have a whole lot of schooling because she had taken me out of school a few years to homeschool, but there was no teaching during those times. So I had about 8 out of 12 years of school. So it really struggled when I tried to get into the workforce. It took me a lot to try to catch up to other people. I did end up going to college, and I had some friends at work that helped tutor me to get through that because I was really far behind. And then I unfortunately ended up in an extremely abusive marriage for about 12 years. So I had 2 children, and in 2016 I moved here to North Carolina, as I mentioned, with my ex-husband now, and the abuse just continued to get worse and worse to some really scary levels. And so when I moved here, I actually got free here in North Carolina, and so that was a blessing in itself. But those were just kind of a lot of things that led up to me leaving and finding freedom, and then had a lot of trauma from the abuse and just things from my childhood. There's some sexual abuse along the way, so my husband now just really helped me to work through those things, and I put him through the ringer, when we met, just not ever wanting to be with anyone ever again, and just not trusting anyone. And he was very, very patient and loving, and that's something I had never experienced really in my life and my family. Unfortunately, I've always felt like I was a good person, but really got kind of hard and cold along the way from the things I had been exposed to. And he kind of helped me understand that I can be soft, and showed me a different way. And like I said, along the way, his family prayed about some things for me that really just instantaneously moved mountains out of my life. And just in seeing those things really just piqued my interest, like what is this? When they prayed for these things for me, I felt the Spirit, and I felt things I had never felt before, and that's what started, like, I want more of this. I want this peace and this joy and dependency on my Creator in my life.
And are you planning on writing anything else?
Absolutely, yeah. So I am hoping to wrap up number 2 this year. So I've been writing. The first book I wrote for about 3 years before I actually published it, or even signed, I think, to publish it. So I've been writing ever since I signed the contract to release If You Let Him, which was, I believe, I actually signed in 2023, and so it took about a year of editing and things like that to get it out. But I'm excited about this one because I've grown so much as an author and writer, but also in my spiritual walk. And so a lot of things that I was praying for in that book, that first book, If You Let Him, have actually come into fruition, and those blessings have occurred. So I'm really excited about this one because I published If You Let Him with just faith, God saying these things are going to happen, just put them out there. And now they have, and so I'm really excited to put them into this book. So I've been writing for a few years, hoping to continue and try to get it typed up and submitted.
Okay. Any plans to delve into fiction works, or going to stick with nonfiction?
I'm going to say sky's the limit. I really love writing, and if I could turn it into my full-time career, I would be elated. I do really want to consider a children's book, or maybe more like a middle school age book, early high school, for young women, maybe that have went through some of the things that I've went through, to try to. It's just something I wish I could have had at that time in my life, so I would love to have that out there for other young ladies.
That sounds like a great idea. Anybody that you want to give a shout out to that helped you get this book across the finish line?
Of course, yeah. My husband, like I said, I don't know where I would be right now without him. I was on a pretty bad path mentally, and so he really rescued me in that sense, just showed me a different way of life. And when I started writing originally and kind of talking to him about this and telling him, hey, I'm hearing these things. I know that God is speaking to me to put this out there. He never once doubted, and he said, well, we'll do it. We'll pray on it. You just keep moving forward one day at a time. And when we finally got to signing to publish, I said, hey, you haven't read this. There's a lot of things in it about us and about our marriage and our relationship. And he said, I completely trust you, and I know that it'll be great, and you just do it. I don't need to read it first. I'll read it afterwards. So he's very supportive and keeps me moving forward, and is one of my biggest fans. And then also I would say his mom. So we call her my bonus mom. But she's been instrumental in my faith walk as well. I was going through a lot of really hard things through the book that were very mentally challenging. And some days I'd sit on the porch and think I hear God and cry. And out of nowhere, I would get an urge to call her, and she would tell me exactly what I had just heard from God. And so just really she's been an inspiration in her prayers, the way that she prays for me, over me, I'd never felt before. And so just those two, there's so many people along the way, but I would just say those two people were what piqued my faith, and I'm very thankful for that.
Thinking here, we have a new live audience member that just walked in.
Nice.
Anything else you would like to tell the readers about If You Let Them?
No, I guess really just go for it. If there's anything that you want to do, just do it. I had no idea that I would get to this place that I'm at right now with one book already out there, and I'm just starting to have interviews like these. And if you aren't a faithful person right now, or think that you've been through too much, or, I used to say a lot in my book, I'm not special, God doesn't talk to me, I'm forgotten, there's no way I'd be going through all of these things. That's not true. God can use anybody, and if you just make that connection, you'll get through anything, and you'll be a whole new creature. Okay.
So, and when you're not writing, what do you enjoy doing?
Yeah, I love spending time with my family, laughing, having a good time. Like to cook for my family. I really love reading, always have. It's always been an escape for me when I really just needed to exit the world that I was in. And now I love it for many other reasons, like self-help and, just growing as a person. I recently just became a certified yoga instructor, so that's something that I really love. I'm hopeful that my retirement plan will be to teach yoga and write books.
Everybody quick, do a down dog. Everybody, if you're watching this, down dog.
So I'm a full-time, I work full-time, obviously, to pay the bills now, but I do have a really great career with Chick-fil-A Supply, a transportation manager there for them. But yeah, that's pretty much me in a nutshell. One day I'm hoping to learn how to play guitar as well. Nice.
What would you define success as an author?
I really never started this to make money, although it does take money. So, just recouping, I guess, what I've put out there would be great. But really, success for me has just been to hear about people reading my book. On Goodreads, I have some really amazing reviews that just kind of like melt my heart to read, just about how people were going through dark times, and reading my book inspired them. Hearing that it was very genuine and they felt connection, like I was just sitting there and we were just talking about problems and, how God can be in your life, and keeping people uplifted and things like that. And to me, that is success. That's really what I wanted out of this, was just anybody that I could reach, and just imagine, in this world, people going through things, and just making that connection and having that turnaround, what the world could be like if everybody did that.
Okay, so being an author wasn't like a long ago plan of yours. So how do people react now when you tell them that you're a published author?
They're shocked, and I don't, just go around shouting it out or anything, but I recently had some family visit from Georgia, and one of my cousins just saw the book on my shelf and saw my name on it and pulled it out and was like, what is this, and so I actually hadn't seen him in a very long time, and I had to tell him while we were visiting, stop reading it, put it down, I want to see you. You can take it home, you can take that with you. But he was just amazed that happened. And even though my goal was never to be an author, what's really funny is that in having that time with God, one of the epiphanies, I'll call it, that he gave me was when I was in elementary school. I said, I really want to write a book one day. And I do remember saying that and thinking that, but after just being dragged through the mud, so much through life, I hadn't thought about it in a really long time. So it's been a really cool journey to connect back to my younger self saying that.
So, if you were going to give me an elevator pitch for your book, what would it be?
I guess I would just say, please check it out. My hope is that it will do something for you, like it's done for me, and like this journey has done for me, and just bless your life in great ways that you never knew were possible.
All right. Well, I enjoyed talking with you tonight, and I look forward to being a part of your journey.
Thank you so much. You have a great night, and happy birthday.
You too. Thank you, Alysia.
Bye-bye.
Bye.